Hi, and welcome back here to episode 124. Going to be on the FXSB here. I just want to get it off the lift is what I want to do. You saw me get the shocks on, install the stock rear wheel. Something's happening making the belt jump or the axle is bent, but I want to get this off the stand here today. So we're going to put the stock front wheel back on. So I'm going to take this current spoke wheel off, remove the brake rotors, put on the new one, and then I'm going to get it off the lift. The road glide from our ride on the weekend, my taillight wires got torn out. You can see it there. So I got to solder them up, get it ready back on the road. So just going to do this front wheel and then going to get it off the lift and get the road glide up there. So that's what we're going to do here today. So stay tuned. So here we are. We're going to start by removing the axle nut. In the bottom of the fork legs, there's a pinch like it's a clamp, like a U-clamp. There's 2 nuts on both sides of each front fork. So we're going to loosen this nut. The axle's not spinning because those clamps there are still tight. I'll bring you in so you guys can see that. So here's our axle nut that I'm doing. Right here, there's 1 nut, 2 nuts, and then the same thing on the other side, on the bottom of the fork tube, 1 nut, 2 nut. And this is a flush mount axle. This is a speedo sensor in there. That's how the speed is determined. My big stand still broke, so I've got to use my little one here, so I apologize for that. So we're just going to undo this. Just set that aside. Get my ratchet now. Now I'm just going to loosen the pinch bolts in the bottom. You don't got to take this cap right off. You just loosen it and you'll see the gap. You see that, guys? That just pinches up and holds the axle in place. I'm going to come to the other side, and I know the camera's over there. Like I said, without a proper stand. Again, I'm hoping that I don't have to change any wheel spacers when I switch this out. I didn't put these spoke wheels on. The previous owner did. So now I'm just going to push the axle through the other side by lifting the wheel up. Here's our axle here. We'll just set that down. So I've got to pull them out of the caliper, which is fine. I'm going to go up a little bit with the center jack because this front wheel chock is keeping me from pulling it out forwards. I may have to take the wheel chock off there, but we'll see if I can go up a bit. Just need to go up a bit enough to be able to get the wheel over the wheel chock. And then we'll open up the calipers like we did. That same thing on the rear caliper. right there, just tighten the strap back up. Keep the pressure coming down on the bike. There she goes. There's our speedo drive right there, acting as the spacer. So it looks like I'm going to have to take the calipers off. Not enough room. So I'm just going to grab my Allen key set. This happens. Some bikes you can sneak it by, other bikes you can't. Probably if we just remove one, so I'll do the one on this side. So we'll remove this caliper. Just find the right Allen. There we go. I'm going to put a little bit of an extension on here. There's one bolt out. And we'll go to the top. There goes the nut for the bottom one. That's okay, at least we know where it is. We go in a recessed spot on the back of the caliper. I'll show you here once I get it off. Here's the second one. So here's our caliper, and you'll see there's a recessed spot right there, and that's where the nut drops in. Just like that. So now you don't have to put a wrench behind it, so when you're tightening it up, it stays in place. That one's in there pretty good. Brake pads don't look too bad. I'm just going to rest this over our peg for right now. See if I can sneak it out past now with just one caliper in. Yeah, I got it. The hottest day of the year here in southwestern Ontario since 1939, so it's pretty warm in the shop today. But I really want to get this bike off so I can get my road glide looked at. But yeah, so again, I'll show you. We removed the axle, flush mount axle. We backed off the pinch bolts on the bottom of the forks. Here's our caliper. We removed one caliper. And then you can see there's one nut in the top and the other one goes in the bottom. This is a dual caliper setup. That's the wheel we're going to put on. I've just placed this wheel over here. I'm going to get set up to remove these pins out, bolts out, Allen bolts as well. And then we'll move the rotors over, so bear with me. So I got it all set up here. I don't like using my impact gun, but these have been on pretty long and tight, so I loosened them a little bit. Now I'll just zap them out for you. I'm not a fan of using the impact too much. I don't use it to install most things. I use a ratchet and then I'll torque them up. Well, they're put in with red Loctite, so we'll definitely do that again. So I know there's another one on the other side, but I'm going to do one at a time. So we'll move this wheel off. So we got to see which way the rotation of this wheel says. So it says going to the front is this way. So that's perfect because this side has my indentation for my speedo hub. So it's going the right way. And that's the same side we just took this rotor off. And that matters strictly because we want to be able to have the pads go on the same rotor that's already been in play. Again, just like we did the rear wheel, I'm going to run these all down by hand. Make sure that the threads are okay. Because I didn't change these, there's the old red Loctite there, I didn't change these originally, so got to make sure there was no damage done to them. That's why the change was made. I think the gentleman just liked the spoke wheels more, which is perfectly fine. A lot of people like the spoke wheels, so I like the aluminum wheels just like my FXR, so I didn't have to do this right now because I could have gotten it all off the lift, but I thought I may as well do it now. Just making sure that the threads are good. I'm going to put some Loctite on. It's so hot, everything's, this Loctite's just gooping out. You didn't have to squeeze the bottle. You always want to make sure you put Loctite on things, especially on your brake components. Your whole front wheel, you want to make sure everything's tightened up. Nothing worse than something comes loose. I was on a ride a few weeks ago and judging a bike show. The one bike that was in the show didn't even have a front axle nut on it. And the guy was riding pretty strong the whole ride. It was crazy. Just gonna run them in now with the ratchet. Might put a little extension on there actually. If you use a knurled extension, you can kind of twist it all with your hand. So just hold the knurl part. Just going in a crisscross pattern. Just gonna get the torque wrench here, and then I'll be right back. I gotta go get it in the other side there. So we're gonna torque it up now. 19 foot-pounds is what we're gonna do it at. It's not a lot, but we got the red Loctite on there. My eyes aren't the best, so I gotta kind of hold this on a bit of an angle in my light to see it. There we go. 19 foot-pounds. Again, go in a crisscross pattern, hold the wheel. I don't know if you guys could hear that on the camera, but it did click. That was 19 foot-pounds. We'll just set that aside. I got the four-wheeler in here because I got to put a starter in it, so we'll get to that sooner or later. I just want to get my road glide back on the road there and get the tail light fixed up. I finished the ride the other day with no light, not a big deal to me, but so we'll use the impact to crack these loose. Again, don't like using the impact, but they've been in for who knows how long. As you can see, the wheel was in the dirt. I should have cleaned these out before I started to put my bit in them. It's a little full of dirt in there. Because they got Loctite on them. They're in there real good. We got two that are stripped here. This one and that one. And as you can see, I burnt my finger from the bit. So real life things. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stop for a second, see if I can fit an oversized bit, maybe get my little torch in here just to heat it up because the Loctite, I'll take this one. I don't know if I'll be able to get that one the rest of the way out, but I'll see if I can and show you all the Loctite around it. We'll zoom in. My finger's burning a little bit. Not very nice. But this is what happens sometimes. But, nothing goes perfect. I can get new bolts, I'm not worried about that. I just really wanted to get a wheel on this bike so I can get the bike off the lift. Like I say, I'm not too worried about the nuts, or the bolts I should say. All I really want is this rotor. I'll bring the camera in and show you all the Loctite that's on there. So you think how much Loctite I just put on when I just reinstalled it. Do you see that Loctite all in there, guys? So all these will have the same thing. So this is a recessed bolt with the chamfered in the rotor. So this goes right inside. So that would have been sitting in there since, I know the bike's 1983, so I don't know when. I can look for a manufacture date on these tires, but as you can see, they're weather cracked anyways, but that's how long that's been in there. And even with the impact and my bit, stripped them. So, and because they're recessed, they're actually not that hard to drill out. You just go right in the center. And because the drill bit is kind of tapered, the head will come off, and then once it's off, I get the rotor off, I just use a pair of vice grips, and you may have to use a little torch there. But so give me a second while I get thinking here. Okay, so what I ended up doing was I drilled them. So I'm going to show you, this is the original one I got out, no problem. And you can see the chamfered or the recess. So when it goes in, it sits recessed inside. As you can see, the top of these ones, I drilled in the center of them. I drilled in the center of them to make it a little bit softer. Then I used a chisel, and then I banged them in a circle to get them loose. And then I put vice grips on it and got them out. So I stripped the inside, if you remember, where the torque went, or excuse me, where the Allen key went. That's an original one there. The Allen key would go in there. So I drilled the center of it to go deep, and then I used chisel and chiseled out till I could get vice grips on it. This one here, when I drilled it, the whole head came right off, so that was perfect. This one here, I drilled it and I chiseled it off. And then this one here, I drilled the center, and then this one came out actually the easiest. And then this is the original one. So now the rotor comes off so I can reuse it. And as you see inside those holes, a lot of red Loctite. That's why it was in there so tight. So when I install this on the new wheel, I'll be using Loctite as well. I don't have any recessed bolts. I have stock OEM bolts that don't recess in. So I'm gonna have to pick some up tomorrow, probably at PD Restoration. So I'll get this wheel, this is a 21-inch wheel. I'll get it down anyways. And then this one's a 19-inch wheel. So I got thinking as I was doing the drilling, this speedo drive is probably set up for a 21-inch wheel. So I'm going to have to find a part number on it, look it up, and then I do have, I'll go over to my parts bin here. So I'll show you. I have, these are rear rotor bolts, but I don't have any front rotor bolts. But here's all of our Harley parts. What was I going to show you? Oh, a speedo drive. Speedo drive right here. So there's a brand new speedo drive. So that's the part number of this one. So I'll have to look that up, but I do have one in stock. Again, they're all different depending on the wheel. This one here as well looks like it's for a right side drive. So I'll have to take a look at that. I don't think it matters, but I'll look that up. So I'm probably gonna stop where we are for today, but you can watch. I'm gonna, just because I got to get those bolts. Zoom in a little bit. So I'm gonna take this rotor off. And I didn't damage any of the threads in here, so I can clean this 21-inch wheel up and sell it, just like I cleaned that other one up in a previous video. And then we'll lift our 19-inch up. And then this rotor will be going on it. So I probably won't be getting to the road glide today, but that's okay. We've got this wheel switch, and that'll give me some time to look up the speedo drive, and then we'll get to the road glide later. Worst case scenario, we just drive the green electric glide, ride the green electric glide, but got to get these wires fixed. Can I do it on the ground? I can. It's easier on the lift, but I want to get this wheel done, and then that's one thing that's done for this one. So stay tuned. Thanks for tuning in. Till next time.